Welcome, everyone. In the spirit of making our YouTube channel, our videos as practical as possible and as connected to real life as possible, we decided to touch today on a very interesting subject. And this is the following one: how to deal with people who love to complain, especially when they are family members. So Seamus, what do you think is the prerequisite number one to initiate any process of loving and caring way to deal with that?
For me, I think the foundation of many, many things, and the foundation for this particular topic, is being calm and aware and self-awareness of what's going on inside ourselves and in the outside world. I think we've mentioned before. So it's that sense of, I'm noticing that when we engage or begin to engage or feel ourselves becoming annoyed almost, or getting ready and tensed up when we engage with a person like I just described, it's the awareness for me is the secret sauce, or the starting point of allowing yourselves to begin to notice. That goes step in step with self-awareness. Notice, I'm noticing that, which allows us then to be prepared to, again, follow a process, maybe as we describe in our conversation right here now, around that as the starting point for having a more engaging and compassionate engagement with a person who might have triggered us before, I guess, you know.
And let's mention very briefly that in one of our module of our program we are offering, we love the concept of our life being a boat. This is the boat of your life. And you're the captain of this boat. You make the decisions. How? The ideal way to do it is to bring you out of the situation, to become the observer, and to see the situation from a bird view. So here you are, observing the situation, noticing, as you said, what's going on, and ideally not getting emotionally involved. Because as soon as this emotion comes in, oh, this is my mother-in-law, she loves to complain, she starts complaining again, the emotion kicks in. And the point is to be here as an observer, to notice it, to get aware of what's going on. And it's very naturally then to get to the next step of acceptance. Accepting that everyone is different, that everyone is on a different stage of his/her life journey, that everyone is on a different stage of one's spiritual journey. And by knowing that and accepting it, then we start speaking the same emotional language, because acceptance opens the door to the next step.
No, absolutely. And I mean, acceptance is so important because it diffuses very, very quickly what comes up through that automatic trigger response. If we're not aware, we just jump in and react. Where when you're more self-aware and accepting, it's the diffusion mechanism, if you want to call it that, of I'm not going to react. I'm not going to respond and be triggered by this person. I'm now taking control because I'm accepting it. And acceptance is such a powerful force in putting ourselves in the shoes, I guess, of the other person, you know, and seeing the story from their perspective and not only from our own. And this comes from the bird's eye view you spoke about. We're able to see the situation almost as a third party looking down and being able to shift over to the other person's perspective. And that comes with acceptance and allowing then us to begin to engage in a way that we might not have had before, because we've used awareness, acceptance, allowing as a way to intervene. And I think that's such a very difficult skill maybe for many people, because it's like driving a car. it may feel clunky and very difficult and awkward in the beginning. You're putting the clutch in and lifting off the accelerator, but you'll find in time through practice that becomes an automatic process. And that is the power of those first 3 steps that we've been speaking to, I guess, in that situation, you know.
Which guides us to step number 4. Because all what we were talking about are processes which are happening within us. And in a real life, a moment comes when we have to take action. The real action in real life. And so after these 3 steps, which naturally flow into each other, then step number 4 is intervene with the situation. And this process of intervention starts with taking a deep, heart-centered breath. And it's very natural for me why it's a heart-centered breath, because our hearts are where love abides. When I take a deep, heart-centered breath, I connect with the power of love. And I firmly believe that no one and nothing can withstand love. So when I'm taking this deep breath and connecting with this high vibrational energy of love, up to 8 meters, people feel it around me, including my mother-in-law. So this is step number 4, intervene. So what are your thoughts on that?
Just as you're speaking, I was intervening myself with my own breath. So yeah, I mean, you put it beautifully. I have nothing more to add really to that, except to say that this process is going to happen probably within a split second of you feeling triggered by this person in this situation. You're self-aware, and the more self-aware you are, the faster and more automatic and more seamless that process will be, from noticing, accepting, allowing, taking that breath, which physiologically slows down that automatic response we might have had before. So through a split second of those 4 steps, you've now given yourself the space and time to engage in a more compassionate way. And that's the next part of the process, because we're feeling that difference within ourselves in that split second of time through those 4 processes. We've changed our own energy. We've changed what we're transmitting out. And it sets a solid foundation for a very different conversation than the one we might have had before in a very similar situation, because we've practiced becoming more self-aware, accepting, allowing, putting everything in perspective, breathing, setting ourselves up for a much more compassionate conversation than we might have ever had before with this person. And I think that's the beauty of the process, and that's the beauty of the discussion we had in our program last week around this very topic, which is relevant, I think, in so many situations, in personal and in business life as well. You know?
And now the next real action step in the real life is to communicate in a loving and compassionate way. So you can interrupt loving this person and say, can I pause you for a moment? Dear mother-in-law, here's how I feel. I feel in my heart that the energy of our conversation is not beneficial neither for you nor for me. Let's change it. And when we start talking about our feelings, I personally have always experienced that the armors fall down. There are no more armors, because by me communicating openly about my feelings makes me a human being, just like the person I am talking to. All of a sudden, we meet on a level of humanness. And this is where this person comes down and meets me on this level of humanness. And this is where the miracles happen. Because most of the people complain and love complaining because they think that this is the way to get the attention from the others. And it's not working. If you want to be seen, heard, and loved, again, meet people on a level of love and compassion. So this is our video for today with the steps which we explained to you. Practice them and give us your feedback, how it works in a real life. See you next time.
Okay, guys, take care.
Bye-bye.